Good afternoon. Welcome to Mornings with Michael. We've had a series of problems with the internet, so that's why we have an afternoon show today. Um, and Intellecti is our word of the day. Intellecti, the realization of potential. Um, I wish I could realize a better potential for our AT&T internet. So that is our word of the day. We're going to move over to our charts. So before we start into with our charts, so Hyatt Hotels said it has entered into a definitive agreement to sell the entirety of Playa's own real estate portfolio acquired from Playa on June 17, 2025 for $2 billion to Tortuga Resorts, a joint venture between the affiliate of KSL Partners and Rodina. We are going to pause now because our internet remains unstable. So Fortive, we jump down to energy, industrials, and materials. Fortive announced that it completed a separation of precision technology segment through a 100% spinoff of Ralliant to its shareholders on June 28th of this year. And Fortive is off 3.36%, and Ralliant is not rallying. We're going to pause for a second to see. And here we see Ralliant rallying to the lower edge of its price. Now we're on to Boeing, $4.7 million deal to acquire Spirit Aerosystem faces the UK antitrust probe as officials launch into the investigation into the deal. And here is Boeing falling 2.34% today. And Spirit Aerosystems also falling 1.24%. On to Kinder Morgan. Was mentioned positively in Barron, saying the pipeline and storage company may be a compelling buy as artificial intelligence and cloud data centers demand more electricity. And Kinder Morgan is up 1.45% today. Lin, LIN, upgraded to buy from neutral at Citigroup, getting close to the profit pivot zone here, up 1.16%. Trox was downgraded to underperform from market perform at BMO Capital and cut the price target to $3. And here is Trox. As you can see, a gap down 10, a little over 10%. And we move on to solar. Enphase had a run on it by options traders and now is selling off of Solar and wind stocks. A new Senate draft raises taxes on all wind and solar projects that haven't begun construction today unless they are placed into service by the end of 2027 and navigate complex, likely unworkable requirements to prove they don't use a drop of Chinese materials. So that is a story there. Let's look at we're going to pull up the rest of the list. This is Solar Edge up slightly today, up 3%. For solar, gaps up on the news, up 8.81%. And Arai is a big sell-off, down 8.39%. Now we're going to move on to financials. U.S. Federal Reserve finds large banks. Bank of America. I'm going to have to pause here to let internet catch up. Bank of America, Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, and JP Morgan well positioned to weather a severe recession in a 2025 stress test. 22 largest banks forecast an aggregate decline of 1.8% of common equity tier 1 capital under hypothetical recession, total losses of more than $550 billion. So that's Bank of America is up slightly today. Citigroup continues on its tear. Goldman Sachs. Gapped up on that news. Wells Fargo is up slightly, gapped up, it looks like, and then sold off, up 0.78%. In JP Morgan. And JP Morgan is up nearly 1% on the day. Late Friday, Bill Pulte, Director of Federal Housing Finance Agency, stated on X, "We are doing a full-scale review of all credit bureaus. The three major publicly traded credit bureaus in the U.S. are Equifax, which was up slightly today, 1.26%. Experian, I guess their symbol is not listed on the exchange. And TransUnion. Note credit rating agency FICO has also been a target of Pulte recently. TransUnion is up 0.85%. And FICO is up 0.64% today. On to healthcare. Arenia Pharmaceuticals said its autoimmune drug anti-intercept significantly reduced antibody levels in the blood of healthy participants in early stage trial. And Intercept is down 1.97% today. On to Bristol Myers Squibb and Gilead Science. Shares could be active after late Friday. The U.S. FDA said it eliminated risk evaluation and mitigation strategies, REMS, as a safety program to protect patients from risky drugs. Bristol Myers is off 0.13% as it continues a declining base, a bearish formation. And Gilead is up slightly. It looks like it's working on a base. On to technology, media, and telecom. Baidu has said it will make an Ernie generative AI large language model open source on June 30th, a threat to OpenAI, Anthropic, and its own Chinese rival DeepSeek. And Baidu is off slightly today on that news. Disney upgraded to buy from hold at Jefferies to raise target to $144 from $100. And Disney is in the pivot zone, it looks like here, up 1.37% today. Oracle upgraded to buy for Stifel, and they raised the price target to 250 from 180. It gapped up on the news and then sold off the rest of the day, up 3.99% on the day. Formula One mentioned positively in Barron's, saying it is poised to benefit as racing action heats up on the track and on movie screens. Formula One jumped slightly, and then it declined down 0.59% for the day. And Hewlett Packard is our final news item. U.S. Department of Justice has settled its antitrust lawsuit challenging Hewlett Packard's acquisition of Juniper Networks, valued at approximately $14 billion. Shares of both stocks are jumping pre-market this morning, and Hewlett Packard was up 11%, and Juniper Networks see if this comes up. Wow, look at that gap up 8.45%, jumps all the way into the pivot zone at 40. So that is our story there. Let's take a quick look at our indexes. Financials continue to trend upwards. Take a look at KBWB. It's doing the same thing. ITA has been leading index in aerospace and defense. It's pretty well extended. Communication services continues to extend into the pivot zone. Looks very appetizing. Utilities, just kind of basing right now. It's up 0.41% today. Real estate, bouncing. We've got a double bottom type of formation. We'll see if they can get a move on. Biotech, which has been pretty weak, is not doing really too much there. Software, continues moving up 1.6% today. I think Dave was a leader earlier, jumping. Look at this breakout at 125. Got all these institutional ants buying the stock here, and generally pulls back after this happens. And It is continuing on up. It's up 115% from the pivot in 36 days. Moving on to technology. Technology continues moving out of the pivot zone here. Infrastructure. Holding steady. Semiconductors. I think it would almost be better to hold SMH instead of having single stock risk in one of the semiconductor stocks. Many people feel this is the new transportation average. Airlines. Working on a base here. We'll see if they can pop out of there. Leisure activities. The cruise lines were continue their, looks like they're in the profit zone right here. Viking continues moving on up. This has been a recent IPO. Industrials. Industrials looking pretty good. They are in the pivot zone. Healthcare, which has been one of the down areas, and it cannot. Biotech and healthcare are in a downturn. So consumer staples, kind of on a bridge to nowhere. Building materials, holding steady right there, still under the 200-day moving average. Mining and metals are heading up. And XHB, home builders. Looks like they're moving up a little bit. Home builders up 0.11%, kind of in the same area where real estate is right now. And finally, uranium. It's just kind of following the 10-day moving average. So uranium remains pretty popular. CCJ is the big uranium play, has definitely cleared the profit zone. And now let us just take a look at what has been trending, where the big money has been flowing. I'm going to pause for a second, set this up. So number one is IEVA Technologies. Just continues all the way up. Look at this. This is just amazing. Up 933% from its pivot in 174 days. Right now, it's way extended. This is kind of the buy area right here. Got a pullback to the 10-day moving average, and it hasn't violated that 10-day moving average entire run. And it is just simply amazing. Bloom Energy. Got a gap up here. Huge volume, up 7.8% today. GMS, building construction products, miscellaneous. Huge volume today. Got a gap up into the pivot zone. Not sure what's going on there. Their earnings came out a little bit ago, negative 36%. Looks like they got a cash offer to buy the business. We just have to wait and see what is happening here. Hewlett Packard, we looked at those guys in the news. We have IPO Hinge Health here. Looked at them last week. They cleared this, got into the buy zone, pulled back. That was your opportunity. And it is almost in the profit zone today, up 18%, huge volume. Iran, this is one of the Bitcoin miners. It's up pretty big today. Looks like it's clearing. It is clearing the, not sure why this isn't. Draw the line. There, finally comes up. So I would say this is still in the buy zone. If you wanted to get into one of the miners. JOBY Aviation, looks like it's cleared this previous top. There we go. Looks like if you wanted to get into aviation, this is good place to place your buy. It was developing an all-electric vertical takeoff and landing air taxi. So that is that. We looked at Juniper Networks earlier. Life 360 Health Club. Looks like it's clearing an area. So this broke out over here, hit the profit zone, has been trading a pretty flat area between 10 and 20-day moving average. And it looks like it's trying to break out again. What have we been doing? MicroStrategy, change their name to Strategy. Got a little bit of a lift off here, some pretty good volume. We already had this here. We're not doing anything in addition to that right now, but we're just kind of holding. Added TOST today. This is in the restaurant area. They help restaurants run their business. It did move up a little bit, and it is pulling back a little bit after hours. So we'll just see if this can get into the pivot zone. We did do an early entry here. We just drew a line across the tops and decided to move into TOST. NVIDIA is up 0.15%. Palantir, also in our portfolio, gapped up today after the big sell-off on Friday. GEV continues up, getting closer to that profit zone. App was up big earlier today and sold on into the middle of its zone, remains above tight trading period. Looks like it may be a rough and tumble cup formation with the handle that's put in here. We'll just see if it can continue up. WGS, bought this over here, went up, and on their earnings, people didn't like their earnings, but we decided to hold on to this, and it is kind of trending upward now. We're back in the money, and that is our show for today for the stocks. We're going to go look at our quote of the day. Our quote of the day is from Nicholas Jarvis. Nicholas Jarvis, who wrote How I Made $2 million in the Stock Market from the 1950s. He was a dancer that traveled all around the world. It's a great book. He said, accept everything for what it is, not for what you want it to be. And don't be wishing it to move forward. Use guiding principles that have worked for the last 100 years. So that is our show. This is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Go out there and have a great day, and we will be back here tomorrow.